Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, all, and welcome to this fortnight's installment of the Ishplussix podcast, the podcast series where you could discover your next favorite artist. On today's episode, I am joined by the one and only 7th Obi. 7th Obi is a Nigerian Irish artist making moves through the underground scene with 2 albums and singles upon singles, and his most recent track, Untamable, being one of his greatest standouts yet. You all need to make sure you go and check out 7th Obi on all platforms, and please welcome him to the Ishplussix podcast. Let's go. What's going on, man? What's going on?
Good man, how you doing, bro?
I'm doing all right, man. I'm doing all right. The weather's all right here in Essex. I'm just chilling on this Sunday evening, man. I'm gassed for this interview. How's it going where you are? Are you in Essex as well?
Yes, I am actually. Yeah, I'm based out in Colchester, but obviously, in terms of like music and stuff like that, I have to go like between here and London and stuff like that. But yeah, it's cool out here. It's quiet. I think obviously if you're going back and forth between London, like you kind of it works because you just have a quiet space to come back to, I guess. So
Yeah,
London is
exactly. Yeah, Essex is full of people who work in like London and stuff like that. It's weird to, I don't know. Well, I say weird. It makes sense.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, before we get too deep into the questions and all of that, you've seen literally every single episode, of course. You know that we always start off with a joke. Today's no different. We'll get it out of the way. The listeners, the viewers already know how I feel about this. Let's just get it out of the way and yeah.
Let's we have the comedy today. What are we saying?
All right. I mean, we'll get into it. All right.
Right.
My wife found out I was cheating after she found the letters I was hiding. She got
Mm.
mad and said she is never playing Scrabble with me ever again. I don't.
Oh man. Oh my God. Bro, I was I don't even know what to say about that one. Um I can see why somebody would find that funny.
Hey,
That's what I'm
hey,
saying.
man. Look, I stole it. All right, I didn't make it up myself, so I'm just a messenger.
You might have to do maybe a comedy special at some point with all these jokes.
I was considering it, man. I was considering it, but like, yeah, I don't know if you've ever seen Joker. I don't really want to be in that situation where I'm just stood there with like my little book of jokes, just waiting for the laughs, and it's crickets up there.
Audience is scratching their head and all that.
That's not for me, man. Let's just get into the questions at this point. Let's get into what the listeners, the viewers have come here for. Give us the origin story. Where did the name 7th Obi come from? You know, how did you get into music? All of that. Talk to me. Also, I want to make sure I'm pronouncing the name right. It's 7th Obi, right?
Yeah, that's it. Sometimes people are like 7th Obi. I don't know. I'm like, no, it's not.
Good.
7th Obi, very easy. But yeah, I've had a couple of music names before that, and obviously a lot of them were just kind of like modeled off, what other people had going on and stuff like that. But 7th Obi basically just comes from seven being my lucky number, and Obi is a reference to Star Wars, and I'm a huge sci-fi um, just lover. I love sci-fi. I love everything like space related. I find it so cool and interesting. So one of the first beats that I ever made a song over was by a guy called Ninth Wonder, super popular, like kind of like 90s hip hop sort of um, sound that he had. So that's what I started off with, and I just kind of modeled my name after his name, and I just took it from there, and it turned out to work pretty well. Worked much better than the names I had before because it was a lot better for Google, and obviously, like nobody else has the name, so that's kind of where the name came from.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, it makes sense because truthfully, I've spoken to a bunch of different artists and they hate the fact that, like, I was talking to this one guy, Pablo Mari, a little while ago,
Mm,
and he hates the fact that but when he first got his name, he was like, "Yeah, sick. No one has this name." And then Arsenal signed Pablo Mari like 2 weeks later, and
Just say, are you talking about like a football player there? Because that's where I know that name. But yeah, man, having it being be able to like having people be able to Google it like easily is such a like it's such a blessing. Like you actually need to make sure you think it through before you like stick with a name. But yeah, it worked out for me. So
facts,
uh,
man. And honestly, it made researching you a whole lot easier as well. So thanks for that.
yeah, shout out to my I don't know what I want to say, maybe like 13-year-old self or something. I don't even remember when I made the name, but yeah, worked
I,
out.
I swear, it's been that long since you made it.
Yeah, I've been making music for a while now. Like, I started making music in because I grew up in Ireland. We have a different schooling system over there. So, in my first year, is when I started making music, and that was I want to say 2010. I must have been like 12, 13 around then. And yeah, I've just been doing it kind of like you know, just in an amateur way, sort of like just just writing stuff in a journal, writing raps and stuff like that. And yeah, I just did it because other people in my school were making music and I was just trying to find something to make myself, like unique. So yeah, that's how I got into music. And yeah, since then just been working on the craft more and more.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. That's crazy. So, sorry, what age did you say you started? I think I might have missed that.
Like 12, 13 around
12,
then.
12, 13. Did you start like with more of a rap kind of thing, or was it more singing? Because I know that on some of your tracks, some of your early ones on SoundCloud,
Yeah.
they were more rap based. So, what was the sort of creative timeline like for yourself?
Yeah. So I think when I first started off, obviously like um yeah, it was very much the rap whole like rap bars, like straight bars, no singing, no auto tune sort of thing. Because I was just so obsessed with like 90s rap, like Nas, Biggie, Tupac, all these guys. Like I was so obsessed with it because not a lot of people were making music like that. So one of the early people that really like got me into like rap was like, you know, Joey Badass, Chance the Rapper, Jaden Smith as well. He was making a lot of rap music around that time. So those were the kind of the people that were influencing me. So I guess I want to say maybe like 2017 was when I got my own microphone. And obviously, once you get your own microphone, you can kind of play around a bit more with effects and things like that. So obviously, I had FL Studio. I'm running my vocals through Pitcher, auto tune, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I guess kind of like my style actually changed the moment I found a crack for auto tune. And from there I just was messing with it and just eventually it actually had an effect on the style that like I'm creating at the moment. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I do want to talk a little bit about how you mentioned Joey Badass a minute ago, because I know that you did have a situation where you got to see him along with like 50 other people at the academy
Oh
in Dublin. I want to talk a little bit about that. What was that like seeing, someone so close up?
yeah, no, that was crazy. I think it was like the 5 year anniversary of 1999, and that album was like so like instrumental for me and like just how a young person, like somebody who's less than like, I think I want to say he was like 17 when he made that album. And just to kind of like he was basically like speaking for me at the time. Um just in terms of like his whole mindset and his whole mind and how he put that all into an album. Um so that album or mixtape, whatever you want to call it, is so important to me. Um and yeah, like I just he had a competition where he was like, can you guys send me your favorite bars from 1999? and this was on Twitter. So I just replied back with one of my favorite lines from the thing. I can't even remember what it was now, but he he or someone from his team saw that, and there was like a couple tickets going, so they invited me to this like very intimate show in London a couple years back, and yeah, it was sick. Just seeing the guy that really inspired one of the guys who proper inspired me to like start making music like up close and in the flesh. So yeah, it was crazy, like unforgettable moments. One of those marquee moments, I guess, that like pushed me to be like, yo, this is what I really want to do. So yeah, man, it was crazy.
Yeah, facts, man. Yeah, 1999 definitely does have some bangers, I'll say.
Oh no,
So,
that.
yeah. Um, I want to talk a little bit about one of your more recent releases, Good Girls Gone Bad. I noticed that there are two versions, the original and the sped up version.
Yeah.
I I think I already know the answer to this question, but I'll ask it anyway. What made you want to put two different versions up on streaming platforms?
So initially, obviously, we have the normal version, but me and some of the guys who I kind of like share my music with, and we just kind of go back and forth, just sharing ideas. Just listen to this song on like like just sped up just a little bit, and I was finding that it had a different bounce to it. Not everything works sped up, but that song and obviously the kind of like house or dance elements to it, I felt like you could bring it forward a bit more just by turning up the tempo. So I felt like that song could have definitely used a sped up version. I don't think every song needs a sped up version, and obviously, yeah, it definitely is plays into the whole TikTok era of sped up versions and stuff like that. But yeah, I think that song in particular, it made sense to do it. So
Yeah, absolutely, man, absolutely. And yeah, I as a follow-up to that, I suppose my next question was more on your opinion, I guess, on the whole TikTokification of mainstream music as we know it now.
yeah, I mean, like when you say TikTokification, what are you talking about? Like trying to make super catchy stuff or having like crazy lines, that sort of thing? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, so when I say TikTokification, I suppose it kind of ties into, I guess, two or three main aspects of what you'd see go viral on TikTok. So the speed of the track, so either speeding up at a certain point or slowing down at a certain point, having a certain bar in there that people can like do a dance to,
Mm,
um, or just having a 15-second section where everything is just crazy or super catchy and completely different to the rest of the song.
right. Okay. Yeah. 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 I think it's kind of like it's one of those things of like balance. I think it's a matter of balance. I think like there are some people who are pushed completely one way, who are like, I'm going to make music for the masses, so much so that I lose all sense of identity and I just follow the trends of whatever's out there. And then you have some artists who are like, yo, I'm too cool to be on TikTok. And like, I just release my music on CD or whatever. And like the real ones are going to listen to it. And it's like, none of those approaches really work. I think the sweet spot is in the middle, whereby you you know you you have that integrity as an artist to say, okay, cool, I'm going to lead these groups of people, I'm going to lead you guys in this direction because this is what I like and this is what I personally want you guys to hear. And then obviously you have that element as well of being like, do you know what, like I'm gonna add this like bounce in my song because I know that it's gonna work for people in the car, or I know that this like instrument is really gonna go off, or I know this line a lot of people are gonna relate to it. So it's about like keeping that middle bit, and I think that's where like you find the most success as an artist. There's going to be people that hate that. Oh, on this song you sound more commercial, and then on this song you're alienating the audience a little bit. But I think the best artists are polarizing like that. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Is that something you aspire to be yourself? sort of like polarizing and I guess encouraging discussion like that, or are you more of a I'd like my music to be approachable, essentially, like as approachable as possible, I guess.
Yeah, I guess I think I definitely go for more the approachable perspective. Just because I think I hate music. I hate, in anything culture related, I hate snobbery. Like I
Yeah.
hate, of like, you know, people being like, oh, that's not real music, or that's not real fashion, or, just because, you buy your clothes here, or, I hate that sort of like, oh, we know what's, best for everybody. Everybody should do this or whatever. I hate that. So anytime I'm making music, I'm always like, I might have some lines that maybe a certain type of people might relate to, but the instrumental might be very like accessible and whatnot. So yeah, I'm always trying to like, I guess, reach as many people as possible, but at the same time, still make something that's like weird, not like just pure trends.
Yeah, I get you. So I guess balancing being approachable and pushing boundaries as well at the same time.
Exactly. Yeah. 100%. 100%.
Yeah, man, facts. Um, I know in the past that you've mentioned being a kid raised by the internet. I
Yeah.
guess sort of to the point where it influenced your choice in degree. To
Mm.
what extent would you say your degree in computing helped with, I guess, your music production and just your general creative process as well as a musician?
That's actually such an interesting question. I never considered that. But I think like, yeah, I did at university I did software engineering.
Yeah.
Uh and I by no means am I like a whiz, or like I'm not
Yeah.
I wasn't getting like, A's and A stars, but I did my thing, I did my thing with school. But um I would say, yeah, it ties into that whole sci-fi thing again. Like, yeah, computers and everything, like it ties into, also, just growing up, like, just experimenting on the computer, like, oh, downloading softwares and like trying to like pictures and edit videos. And I was always doing that when I was younger. So, I guess having a good, kind of like skill set just made it easier for like when I download FL Studio and I find a crack for a plugin that I need, or, you know, all these things. Yeah, it's influenced the music in that way. I don't know if my course really influenced my music, but I think I also found a way to be creative through coding and programming as well. And it's really weird because when I like create something with code, and I'm able to like make something work and like remove bugs and things like that, and I'm like, here, try this, put in whatever this input, and this is the output that's going to come out. It definitely scratches that same itch that music does for me. I guess music just comes a lot easier than programming, but yeah.
That's crazy though to think about because oh, here it is, yeah. Because coding is such a heavily like you make one mistake, you type one letter out of line, and everything just falls apart in coding. But some of the greatest tracks in history, or some of the most influential and most iconic tracks in history, have have come to fruition by mistakes being made. So it's, just an interesting thing to take in, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's, yeah, you're right. You're definitely right. Like with coding is like, the computer is gonna do exactly what you say. It's kind of like in TV shows or movies where the genie gives you a wish, and it's like you make the wish, but it's like it's gonna give you exactly what you asked for. And sometimes what you ask for isn't exactly what you're intending. Um yeah, music, I don't know if it works in the same way, but I think that like I think, yeah, music is definitely a lot more forgiving. But I think, with programming, there's like there's like a different sort of way to get to. You kind of have to like, how do I put it? Like you got to like break down all the stuff that doesn't make sense, and like you have to like really focus on details, for you to get that final result. And I love the kind of struggle, because I think there is some of that in music as well, where there's a struggle where you're trying to create a melody to a song, and you're like, music has its own rules as well, and you can't go with some notes because they're not in the key of what it is you're trying to you know make a song to. So
Yeah.
it's got its own rules as well, and I think in that process of like creating a song, um it I guess you can find a similarity there with the programming, because you got to follow some rules, and then eventually you get what it is you're looking for.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's that's very true actually, to be fair. You put that in perspective. You've been mentioned as an artist in the past as having potential to become one of the biggest names in Irish hip hop.
Hmm.
Is the Irish part of that a big deal to you? Because sort of like following that statement, they said, or furthermore, global hip hop.
Yeah.
I Is it important to you to keep that Irish part as you go ahead? Because I mean, I know you were born in Nigeria and made and grew up in Ireland, and now you're in England, so you've done a bit of moving around. So, talk to me about that.
Yeah. I think where I'm from, I feel like I grew up in Ireland. So in terms of like where I feel like I'm really from, I will have to say Ireland. I feel like I have my roots obviously from Nigeria and everything like that.
Yeah, the
Uh,
aunties are gonna get on you, bro.
I'm keen in the future to really like explore and get my roots down there as well. And I think it's just a matter of time.
Yeah.
A matter of time spent. There could even be a time in the future where I end up, it comes to fruition that more of my life was spent in Nigeria than Ireland. You know what I mean? So that could always come at some stage, but it's just a matter of timing. But the Irish part, it's important because of, you know, for the fact that not necessarily to represent like Ireland, but the fact that like I was, very much by myself in terms of being a single, black boy in and amongst a load of white Irish kids. And that kind of like feeling different to everybody around me, is what kind of created this weird alter ego, I guess, which is 7th Obi. And I think for that reason, yeah, it's important, because it's like, when people say, oh, you're a black guy, you're from Ireland. It's like, what, black people in Ireland? I'm like, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, create, I guess 7th Obi is what happens when like a black boy moves to like a rural town in Ireland. So I think it's special for that reason. So yeah, that's why I kind of sometimes tag that with my name as like the Irish artist 7th Obi.
And yeah, to be fair, I black people in Ireland, I do know of quite a few black people in Ireland, but they are pretty few and far between though, from what I've seen. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
they
We're making a name out there. There's a couple people who are, it seems like every year we're doing something that is putting ourselves on the radar. So it's cool to see.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I to be fair, out of all of the Irish artists, I say out of all the Irish artists I know, the only black one that I know that comes to mind is the obvious Reggie Snow.
You just know.
Um, yeah, simply because he's just the biggest one I know, to be fair. So yeah,
Of course, yeah, Reggie, yeah, he's got quite a name in Ireland. A lot of people know about him as well.
yeah,
So it's cool to see. We're making a good scene out there.
yeah, yeah, exactly. I know that you opened for Kyle during his tour at Dublin, or in at the sorry in the at the academy in Dublin a while back.
Yeah.
I suppose before we get into my question, talk to me about what that was like. How did you get in touch with him? How did that all, pattern out?
That was so unexpected actually. Like I didn't plan that at all. Um, at the time I've been dropping some singles. So that was kind of, I guess, I feel like with artists, we all have like, peaks and we all have, down bits and whatever. So I think maybe like 2018, that was kind of like 2018, 2019 was kind of like my first bit of buzz. So at that time, I was about to drop my first project, Taxi Club. So we went back to Ireland to kind of like just promote the song and just network and do a listening party. So I get a message from my manager at the time, and he was like, "Yo, like these guys have just hit us up to open up for Kyle," and it was like so unexpected. So, we didn't even have a chance to rehearse. Really, we just kind of like you know put a small set together just beforehand, and yeah, we did it, and yeah, that got me a lot of fans at the time as well. So uh yeah, that was a really cool experience, and I'm looking to kind of like do more of that in the future, more performances and more live shows, uh and just kind of like touch the people in like reality, in real life, so.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that makes sense. Um, how much time did you have then? Because you said you didn't have time to rehearse. What was the I guess what was the turnaround time for that? Like when you received the message and between the time you received the message and when you were on stage?
Trying to think now. I think we got maybe like a week. We found out maybe like a week before. So we put a set together, and we just kind of said, okay, look, so after this song, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna talk to the crowd for a little bit. And then we're gonna, bring out, one of the featured artists on one of the songs and whatnot. I feel like you can put together a show very quickly if you're organized and you're working with somebody. I was working with LHK at the time, and we put together just a small set, and yeah, it just worked out. Not really anything went wrong or anything like that, but I definitely think it takes some time to build up like a proper show. So we were just opening, so we just had to make sure we came correct. So
Yeah, and I one of the things about being an opener for a larger artist is going out to a crowd of people that have never heard of you before.
mhm.
So, talk to me about the dynamic there. What was that like going out to those people who I mean, I say that I'm assuming they didn't know you. They might have, but talk to me about that.
Yeah, I'm sure there was definitely, I think there was a few people who would have known who I was, but yeah, you're definitely right. In terms of like going out there for people who are going to paid to come and see an artist, and then they're like, who's this guy on stage? Definitely think it's your opportunity to kind of like win them over.
Yeah.
Uh, I think you just got to roll with the punches on those ones and just kind of like um, just have a good representation of yourself. And the music definitely speaks for a certain percentage, but then I think also your energy as well, the energy that you give, how you look into the crowd and everything. And at the time, I would say by no means was I like a seasoned performer. I don't even think I am to this point, but I definitely won some people over that night. Based off the music, based off the energy that we gave the crowd, and yeah, like definitely it's tough. Wouldn't say it's easy, but it's definitely a cool opportunity.
So, my actual question for, I guess, this part of the interview was more if and when it does get to the point where you find yourself doing tours nationally, internationally, do you see yourself bringing Irish locals or Colchester locals or Nigerian locals with you? Or is it more of this person in Croatia has been on my radar for a while. I'll bring him up on stage with me or to do the opening for me when I'm there.
Um, I think I'd be open to just, I guess, any artist who I feel like complements my music well, or it could even be somebody who's just completely a different style. But I think ideally what I'd like from my shows, is to have artists that kind of give you that, out of this world sort of feeling as well. Um, I definitely I don't even really look at borders when it comes to music. So yeah, no, it could be an Irish artist, of course, but for me, like it's all about the energy, the type of music that you're giving out to the people. I have to feel like people need to hear this and it's of value to their lives because I really, I take music so seriously. So I don't want to be, I don't want to champion some music that I know is not authentic. So it's just, yeah, just that feeling of authenticity. So it could be someone who's Irish, could be a Nigerian artist, could be an English artist. So yeah, there could be anyone really.
I want to tie things back to your mention about, your fixation, fascinations with sci-fi and space, that kind of thing. I want to
Yeah.
talk a little bit about I guess just general observations or realizations, maybe thoughts about the universe as a whole, that kind of thing, I aliens, whatever, man. Like
Oh man,
what goes on? What goes on in the mind of 7th Obi about that kind of stuff?
so much to think about there. I guess like I guess like what I kind of look at in terms of like sci-fi and all that kind of stuff is just I think more and more people just kind of need something to kind of like make them kind of like notice that we're just such small creatures on such a like a small planet in like comparison to everything. Do you know what I mean? So like even just the way my music is engineered, and I know a lot of artists do this. It's not unique to me. Just in terms of like when you listen to it and just like the reverbs and the sounds that you hear and just like maybe the instrument choices, everything is kind of got maybe like a sci-fi feel to it, like a movie soundtrack sort of feel to it. So I feel like there's so much inspiration to take from that. And even not even just musically, it's just like, like when you look up in the sky and you see stars and stuff like that, like it kind of puts things into perspective. And I feel like not enough people, we're always like kind of like looking down, whether that's like we're cooking food or like we're on our phone or we're looking down at the things, but very rarely do people just like look up and just stare at like where we are. So that to me is such a powerful like idea. And I think when you kind of like I almost feel like it's the opposite. When people say you should ground yourself, I almost sometimes feel like you need to look up to like ground yourself and realize that, oh, okay, like, a parking ticket doesn't matter, or like, the way somebody treated you yesterday actually doesn't matter. Like you look up and you're like, wow, like it's so infinite, and there's so much to it. So yeah, that's kind of like where I feel like that's just where my mind is at when it comes to the whole idea of just space and sci-fi and like how that plays into my music. Yeah.
That makes so much sense, man, honestly. And yeah, I have to remind myself a lot of the time that literally none of this is in my personal control and just frankly any of our control at all.
Yeah.
And yeah, that helps me to I don't know. It helps me to not worry about stuff or not think too much about stuff from that
Yeah.
point.
Yeah. I think you when you kind of hold on to that, I guess it kind of gives you a like underlying thing that keeps you sane, because there's so many things, when you stay on the level of just human to human, there's so many things that can get you down, when people doubt you and people hate on what it is you're doing. I feel like having that connection to something real and something bigger than you always keeps you feeling like, I guess, like you're living a story, and like there's a purpose for everything that's happening in your life. So yeah, I think it's important to just have that like kind of like grounding, I guess.
Yeah, exactly, man. Exactly. I mean, sort of tying into the sci-fi thing again, what would you say some of the recent movies or shows or experiences are that have stood out to you as a fan of the genre?
Oh man, there's just so many. There's so many stuff that I really love. I know it's not sci-fi, more maybe like adventure, but obviously that new um that new Spider-Man movie, Spider-Man in general, is just one of my favorite superheroes. Love The Matrix. I love Akira. It's a 80s anime.
Yeah.
Love I love Dune. Dune is one that I'm getting into. I've been reading the book a lot recently, so I'm looking forward to like the second part of that movie. Um, Obviously love Star Wars. Rogue one of my favorite Star Wars films. Um, yeah, there's just so many. I'm always anything there's certain things that come out, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's got my name written all over it. And it might be sci-fi, I might not enjoy it, may not be the best film ever, but I'm always kind of like looking for movies like that, like Interstellar, uh, movies like that just kind of like blow your mind. I think the next one I'm kind of looking forward to now is Oppenheimer, Christopher Nolan film. So I'm looking forward to that. It's gonna be really sick.
Which one are you gonna see first on the day, bro? Are you gonna see the Barbie movie or the or Oppenheimer? What's the game plan?
It's the choice. I think maybe Oppenheimer first, but the reason is so that I can have more time to consider Barbie and kind of like write my analysis and think about the intricacies of that movie. You know, of
The intricacies of Barbie or
course, I'm sure. To be honest, actually, I don't even know what that movie is going to be like. I might actually have a look and see what it's going to be saying, but yeah, I'll check it out.
yeah, to be fair, I
Who
I
knows? It,
feel
it could have like a deep meaning in the background of it.
exactly, man. Yeah, I feel like I can't see Oppenheimer without seeing Barbie, and that annoys me because because like I that's my whole day gone basically. Like
You ever done that? Have you ever done a two movie in one day sort of thing?
I have, yeah, but like on just a random Sunday, not like a freaking 3 hour movie followed by another hour and a half one. Like that's crazy.
I've never done that, but I feel like it would be cool to see like the contrast between two movies like that. That would actually be really interesting.
I guess so, man. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I'm I'm
Try that out.
I'm gonna have to do it at this point because yeah, that's all I see people talking about on Twitter. Just like, Bobby, there's up and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do it.
Each their own, yeah.
Yeah, man. Okay, cool. So my next question is one that I do tend to ask everyone else. What is next for 7th Obi? Just like sort of in the short term and then in the long term. What can we expect from you for the rest of this year? Then I guess sort of early into next year, considering we're halfway through this one.
Yeah. So for now, I've got a couple more singles lined up, but I'm gearing up for at some point towards the later half of this year to drop an EP of maybe like 4 or 5 songs
Yeah.
that are really, songs that will mean a lot. So I'm trying to, think about how I'm going to package everything. And yeah, a lot of people. I've been putting out quite a few singles, so I think people are kind of ready to hear some work. So yeah, a couple maybe some more music videos lined up as well. So yeah, I'm just going to keep creating, keep outputting. And yeah, I'm just looking forward to long term, hopefully being able to do more shows and be on bigger stages and things like that. So yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, exactly, man. Yeah, and yeah, you have been on the sort of single run lately as well, especially with your most recent track, Untamable. So, yeah, that's definitely something to look forward to.
Definitely.
My last question is one that I do ask everyone. So let's just get into it. You are heard by everyone on Earth for 10 seconds. What do you
Hmm.
say?
Um, I would say that's crazy actually.
Take your time, honestly, man. It's kind of
Everybody in the world can hear you. I would probably say um hmm, I'll probably say something along the lines of like everyone look up or something. Just like look up and just like kind of just look up, look at the stars, look at the sky, look at just the vastness of everything. Just kind of like look up and really take it in and be like, yo, like, you know, it, I feel like our early ancestors used to do that a lot. They used to like look up and kind of like see where they are in relation to the stars, and they used to make things, obviously, like pyramids, Stonehenge, things that have a relationship with the sky. And I feel like that's something that we don't do enough in this day and age. Everything we do kind of keeps us kind of fixated on the things around us. So I think if I could tell everybody one thing, it would be just like, just look up, just, take it all in. And yeah, that's what I would say.
Yeah, man. That's very real, to be fair. Yeah, and it sort of takes me back to that movie from like last year, Don't Look Up. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah. That's literally bang on, literally.
yeah, man.
That's
Actually, do you know what? Yeah, I think that is a good place to close off this episode. Um, so yeah, I'll close off and then do the standard outro.
okay.
Listeners, viewers of the Ishplussix podcast, make sure you guys all go check out 7th Obi on all streaming platforms, forms, all social media platforms as well. His socials are on like just underneath the little video thing. Make sure you go check out 7th Obi's most recent track, Untamable, available on all platforms. And yeah, 7th Obi, do you have anything you'd like to say before we close off?
Um, Nothing much really. Just like, yeah, go stream the music, and yeah, just keep being true to yourself, and just keep living your life. Yeah. So generic.
Do you know what, man? Honestly, that's a lot realer than a lot of the other stuff that's, some people say. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, no worries, man.
Yeah. Sick. Make sure you guys all I mean, I already told you guys to make sure you go check out 7th Obi stuff. Make sure you all subscribe. 7th Obi, please tell these people to subscribe to the channel. They won't listen to me.
No,
So
yo, guys. See the subscribe button down there. Yeah. I know you guys are watching this video. Yeah. I need you guys to go click the subscribe button. And I need you to absolutely assault the like button as well. Yeah. Go do that right now. Go do that.
facts. Facts. You heard the man. Come on, guys. Listen to him. All right, cool. Listeners, thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. Keep it real, and I will see you later. Alligators.